Wasabi アニメすごいですね。
Hi, everybody, and welcome to what is the opening ceremonies for WasabiCon Online, which, again, it's not a virtual convention as much as it is a celebration of the convention that we should all be at together in Jacksonville right now. My name is Tom Kroom. I am the founder and creator of WasabiCon, and with me is Danielle, our show coordinator. It's a really neat question. I don't know, because if I point to, are you on this side of me or this side of me?
You pointed on the right side the first time. We probably should have figured that out before we went live, but that's okay. This is fine.
So for those of you who've ever been to an opening ceremonies, you know for a fact that the opening ceremonies literally serves as our large-scale tech test for everything else for the same weekend. So when you're walking in, there's usually somebody still taping down wires and turning on switches and stuff. It's because we use this time to find out everything that's going to go wrong for the rest of the weekend. So we've worked really hard to put together a lot of things to make sure that doesn't happen, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So flukes are going to happen, mistakes are going to happen, but the important part is it's just like a normal convention weekend. We're all just here to have a good time. So to kick off, first off, thank you everybody who's watching right now. It's amazing. How many viewers do we technically have? Like 20, you said? Something like that?
Something like that. I don't know. I haven't checked it recently. I probably should be keeping up to date on that, but oh well.
I'm assuming that at least 15 of those are your family and my friends. So
probably.
Hi, everybody who decided to come out. So a little background. I do this every opening ceremony. So what is WasabiCon exactly? Well, in 1999, I met a really pretty girl, and that pretty girl liked Sailor Moon. What she didn't know is prior to that, I was a closet nerd who was going to Star Trek conventions 10 years earlier. But because she liked Sailor Moon, I suddenly decided I liked Sailor Moon in order to make sure I, kept up conversations. Flash forward to about 2001, I created an anime club called Wasabi Anime in order to continue to impress the same girl. It worked, by the way. We've been married now for years. But as Wasabi Anime happened as a club based out of Central Florida, we started appearing at other conventions, and we grew. So we would have, back in the early 2000s, there used to be Wasabi Anime Orlando, Wasabi Anime Treasure Coast, Wasabi Anime Miami, Wasabi Anime Tampa. It was all over the place. And there was even a Wasabi Anime Green Cove Springs, and just north of it, Wasabi Anime Jacksonville. So as time passed, Wasabi Anime started doing events for large conventions all over the place, including shows like MegaCon or Fan Expo or even Gen Con in Indianapolis. As we were doing these, we started looking into doing our own shows. So we started launching some of our own conventions. Some of the early ones, we did Invader Con, which was the Invader Zim fan convention. And we did that all over the United States as an excuse to travel. I mean, we did it in Texas once, we did it in California, did it in Atlanta, never brought that down here to Florida. But in Florida, we started an anime convention called the Florida Anime Experience, and that ran in Orlando for about 7-8 years before we wound up selling it and taking a check. But the year after we started that, we decided we wanted to do more than just anime. So we looked at doing something about anime and cosplay and games, because those are the three main things we enjoy doing. We're celebrating as far as fandom is concerned. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still an old school Star Trek fan at heart. I love Star Wars. I'm one of those angry old men that's going to tell you the first three movies are the best ones, and I don't mean the prequels. There's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. So I've got my nerd deeply entrenched into everything else. But with WasabiCon, we wanted to focus on very specific facets of fandom. So anime, cosplay, and gaming kind of became our focus, and we're talking video games and tabletop analog gaming. So we started WasabiCon in 2012 in Jacksonville, Florida. And it kind of was the little train that could, because we were focusing at that point. Wasabi Anime was taking off with everywhere else. We were booking shows all over North America. We started doing stuff in Canada, in Japan. We even had a deal to do something in Europe once. And we were running our own shows. We had, Florida Anime, InvaderCon every couple of years. So WasabiCon was just kind of hey, it's there. We'll run it every year. And on its own, it just kept growing. Flash forward to a few years ago, we decided to put a lot more heat and light on it. And man, Jacksonville jumped all over it at that point. Anybody who was at WasabiCon last year saw that our number one complaint, rightly so, was that there was not enough room. Our registration got way overwhelmed. There's pictures on the internet of our registration in the Lexington Hotel, and you can just see row after row after row after row of people all waiting to get their tickets. And we're moving as fast as we can. Of course, just like we made the joke at the beginning of the stream, in the midst of that, the internet went down, so that made things even better. So WasabiCon was set to move in 2019 to 2020 to the Prime Osborne Convention Center to expand the vision that we have for the show, allow more people to attend more comfortably. And then, of course, COVID-19 happened. Early out, nobody could have predicted we'd still be here where we were, but we did start the conversation back in April with, the powers that be and the Prime Osborne team, and said, hey, probably not going to impact us. Oh, those were the days. But in case it does, let's talk about a plan now. So, it was great to work with people, and we got to work with, and we had the foresight to go, hey, let's come up with a plan B, even if we're not planning to use it. And we had no intentions of using our plan B. Fast forward to July, and we're in midsummer, and it doesn't look like it's going away. So we called them back and said, hey, the safety of our attendees is paramount. We constantly use the phrase fandom is family, and the last thing we want to do is put any of our fans in any sort of a situation that could be unsafe for them. So we made the very tough decision to move WasabiCon from 2020, it was supposed to take place today while we're talking, into 2021. And we are October, and Danielle, correct me if I'm wrong, it's October 15th and 16th, 2021 now, I believe, are our dates for next year.
Yes.
Yes, I think
yes.
so.
Yeah, I'm not confirming that on my phone right now. I'm an involved show coordinator who's paying a lot of attention to running the show.
Well, normally when we do these, I'm in front of my computer and I'm doing it in front of the camera for the show, and I can't pull it up. Or
16th and 17th. We were wrong, and we're both bad, and we're both fired now. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the last WasabiCon ever. Bye. Well, okay, you eventually have to come back, though. Oh, he's not going to come back. You do. You do have to. This is the only time you're on camera all weekend. Come back.
So, WasabiCon is going to happen next year. As we reached out to all of our attendees and all of our artists and all of our vendors, we gave the option to, refund tickets up until the end of August. Processed all of those, and I'm just going to say, as a heartfelt thank you, we were surprised at the low number of you that opted to do that. You guys had faith in us and in the show that you carried over to next year. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of Danielle, on behalf of the Wasabi Anime team, thank you for doing that. It does make coordination, number one, a lot easier because we know how many vendors we have to juggle now, and we know how many artists we're going to have, and we know that we can look into plans this early out to try to create an environment that might be more conducive to today's mass gathering specifications. And let's be honest, we don't know what those specs are, and we're not going to know next month or the next month, but we can keep coming up with plans and changing those plans as we get closer. So it's an exciting time. But that leads us to, what are we doing this weekend? Well, first and foremost,
we don't know. This is the improv weekend.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, we're just going to turn on a stream and hope something happens.
We're going to hope someone shows up and starts streaming.
And there's always that chance that you might see me again when I get a panic text from Danielle going, they haven't showed up. Somebody hasn't showed up. And then suddenly
I really hope that doesn't happen.
It's statistically, it's like running a con.
I know, but I hope it doesn't happen.
Any of you watching who've ever volunteered at a convention or worked on the staff of a convention know that there's always that one panel, and there's always one that they sounded solid. They double checked, everything went fine. And then you go to the room and you're like, hey, wait, panel started 10 minutes ago and there's a whole bunch of people just watching. And then suddenly, if you're the staffer that finds that, you're the person stuck standing in the front of the room going, so what was this panel about? Oh, it was about My Hero Academia. I saw an episode. Let's talk about that, and then you let them fight it out over Deku and Bakugo being best boy. Which we all know is actually Todoroki.
Stop.
So, sorry, truth hurts.
It's Bakugo.
So this weekend, she's wrong.
No,
we are
you're wrong.
going to do a Twitch stream And honestly, we've been playing on Twitch for a while. Kudos to our friends over at Gen Con, actually got us to look into this further. To their credit, they've been pushing us for years to do this because they've been into it for years. And we're like, we don't have time. Well, thanks, COVID-19. Now we have all the time in the world. So we put together the Wasabi Anime Twitch channel. And if you haven't been watching it, we currently have 3 shows that happen every single week. Every Monday, you can watch Made in America, which is hosted by our very own Maid Cafe Mikusu, which is basically what happens inside a Maid Cafe or talking to other people who run Maid Cafes, just to give you an impression of what it's like, the lifestyle, kawaii culture. On Tuesdays, if you've ever been curious what it's like to run an anime convention or a pop culture con or any sort of, comic book major event, we have Convention Nerds, which is hosted by myself and my partner, Ken, Joey Snack Pants Navi, where we interview and talk to people who run conventions from all over the world. So far, we've gotten to talk to the team behind BlurredCon, the Black Nerd Convention. We've talked to MomoCon, which is probably the strongest online presence of interactivity we've seen for a con. And last weekend, we talked to our friends just south of us here in Florida, Holiday Matsuri in Orlando, about what it's like running a holiday convention. Because let's face it, right now, we're all thinking about Halloween and we can't do anything about it just yet.
Quick pause on that, Tom. I want to give a quick shout out to MomoCon and to Holiday Matsuri, because on the back end, they have been helping us a lot with learning some of the more nuances of getting used to this technical environment with Streamlabs and whatnot. So they're awesome. If you haven't heard of them, you haven't checked them out, you totally should.
So yes, thank you, Jess, Stucky, Greg, all you guys who have given Danielle the advice to make us look better on camera and not to. We had some problems on our previous podcast where we.
Don't do that. We're gonna think it's me this time.
Because the frame, you get the picture. So Thursdays, in order to bilk me for free video games, Danielle hosts a show called RPGs for Weebs, where we have found, according to her, where she plays Japanese role-playing games for a couple hours a night every single week. What's been great about the show for the past couple of weeks is we've been growing our following. And so for every 50 followers we get, we have like $100 convention prize pack with lanyards and pins and decals from, Fandom PDX, our sister show in Portland, MegaCon, InvaderCon, Florida Anime Experience, all these shows. So we send you a packet. But the only way you can win is if you watch Thursdays every time we pass another 50. And right before we started the show, I think we're 290 something, which means if we break 300 this Thursday, she'll give away another prize pack. So if you like free stuff during Twitch streams, hers is the one show out of the 3 to watch.
Yep.
But so what about this weekend? So what are we doing? Well, we have a lot of stuff playing this weekend. And the goal when we approached doing the WasabiCon Online stream was less about trying to replicate a convention and more to try to celebrate the convention. We all want to be there right now. We're all at home. You're watching this on your phone, your TV, your laptop, your computer. Somehow you're watching this on a Twitch stream. And I wish we were all together in Jacksonville, Florida. Danielle and I would be going in no sleep, and my Starbucks card would be going through the roof.
Yep.
But we decided to reach out and find a lot of great people, teams, and groups to just come on and present so we can kind of share in the love of what happens at these cons. So my one I'm looking forward to personally is we partnered with Visit Jacksonville and put together a survey of geek businesses in the city of Jacksonville and Jacksonville Beach, and let you, the fans, vote for who you think your favorite is. And today at 2 p.m., they're going to count down the top 10 people who got votes. And last I checked, we spoke a couple days ago, well over 500 votes. So it's actually a really solid survey.
And yes, 2 p.m. I knew that off the top of my head.
I said it. I got it right.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Sure.
I didn't have to. That's fine. Neither was I. That's what when I do that. I think that's why I'm like, she's looking at her phone. She'll correct me.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's Danielle's job at conventions, by the way, is Tom goes and just says a bunch of stuff. Then
Danielle quietly does everything in the background and cries a little bit.
She either has to confirm that it can actually happen, and then if it can't, somehow have to apologize for me saying it's going to happen, or create a miracle while I'm not looking and make it actually happen. So all of those happen regularly. Another thing I want to cite about, my friend Candy authored a book going to my first convention, which is loosely based on her own son. And Candy Keen, as you know, has been coming to the show as one of our cosplay now mom blogger guests since year one. So she's been here forever. And she's going to do a live reading of her book, and it just now became available on Amazon. We have other great presentations by a number of great groups. We have Ryan from GAM and Bader from the Short Box podcast have a presentation this weekend. Along
we have a
with,
couple. We have a new business too. That's going to be actually our first panel of the day, presented by Neon Otaku. Some groups that we haven't worked with before that we're working with for the first time. Babes, Games, and Geeks. As well as some returning favorites. Extra Life will be here. And of course, our own Maid Cafe Mikusu, who we love so much and is also heavily featured on Made in America. So if you want like a little sample platter of that, we got 2 of their panels going on this weekend. It's just a lot of really fun stuff.
My wife just walked up to me and held up a big note that says, "You're and umming a lot." So I have to stop and umming a lot.
But you do that all the time anyway. This is just Tom talking.
I'm drinking more coffee in order to try to stop and umming a lot, because as you might guess, we're not very awake. We were up pretty late trying to get the final touches on this. It's like a regular convention in that aspect of, we stayed up till dark 30. I was up till at least after 2 a.m. going, well, Danielle wants this header to look better. I get it fixed before we get there. And then you guys didn't see, my wife just quietly put water there right now because she thinks that's going to be better than nitro cold brew coffee. I don't know why. So yeah, no, we have a lot of great presentations this weekend, as Danielle was pointing out. But the important thing is, if you want to support the show, follow us on Twitch. And then if you really want to support us, subscribe to the channel. You know, we're looking at growing the Wasabi Anime channel overall. One of the upcoming events is going to be, we had to make a similar arrangement in planning with our sister show, Fandom PDX, over in Portland. They were originally scheduled to take place January 2nd and 3rd of 2021. And we, a couple weeks ago, made the decision together with our property that it just didn't seem like the right thing to do just yet. So we pushed that back all the way till May. So we're going to do the same thing again in a couple of months. And if you're subscribed or you're following, you know, you'll find out and get all the updates as we do it. Plus, we have mentioned we have 3 shows so far, but we are working on at least 2 other ones and a couple of other projects that we're hoping to get to. That said, Danielle, you have the Twitch stream up. Has there been any questions or anything that we should address? We want to make sure that we're at least answering questions for people in the audience.
Well, we haven't been getting a lot of questions. We have one person asking if you're cosplaying Arthur Dent. I don't know who that is.
No, if I was.
You seem like you probably would.
Well, Danielle doesn't get the reference because she doesn't know pop culture outside of Weeb stuff.
Plot twist, I don't know any of this.
But no, if I were, 1, I would be wearing my bathrobe, and 2, I would be drinking tea and not coffee. But that is a great question.
But yeah, real quick chat. If you guys have any questions about WasabiCon or about what we're doing this weekend, or for either of us, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm the one kind of monitoring here in case you could not hear the very loud clicking of my mechanical keyboard going. But yeah, other than that, it'll just be us talking, I guess.
No questions, nothing to feed off of. So I just have to tell dumb stories.
Yeah, you can keep telling dumb stories. Someone said, "Woo, Fandom PDX represent." We have several different people. We have one person who actually tuned in from California who is watching.
Really?
Apparently, it is like 9 a.m. there, and they have been making a point to attend all of the online convention type things. I guess just really see how a lot of these pop culture conventions are doing in that experience.
Well, and that's great. Well, 1, thanks for tuning in from California. 2, yeah, I'm a fan, and I've said this on the Convention Nerds podcast. I am not a fan of the phrase virtual convention. I don't believe those are a thing. I think the only virtual convention is going to happen when we get to the point of Ernie Klein's Oasis, and we have a full body VR experience that we can do that with. For now, I think that these are convention experiences, or, you know, celebrations of a convention. You know, even if you're doing the, hey, look, I'm going into my, you know, 3D VR, go to my vendor's room. It's just not the same. And that is honestly a testament to conventions themselves. Conventions are a unique experience where people get together and it's a vibe, it's energy, it's something you can't. It's a vibe. It's something you can't recapture in a virtual digital environment. So, me saying there's no such thing as a virtual convention isn't such a thing as a virtual convention, isn't a dig at the other ones that are trying to do it. It's actually a compliment because, no show that I go to is going to be as good as me doing it online. Now, don't get me wrong. There are great ways to connect and experiences. Twitch has been a great way for that. Discord, people have Discord servers. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. MySpace, LiveJournal. I'm lying on those last two. But doing this and doing what we're doing, as I said at the beginning of this presentation, is we're not here trying to replace WasabiCon for a weekend. We're trying to celebrate and all remember it together because we're supposed to be together right now so that we can plan to be together again next year. Or hopefully, depending on how the world turns out, we do throughout the year appearances at other shows or at other events. And Danielle's raising her hand like it's a class. Yes, Danielle, you girl.
Well, just because the chat.
What's your question?
First off, emo girl. Okay, so we have a few just comments in the chat that I wanted to call attention to real quick. One Danson has basically said that they are very sad that WasabiCon's not happening this year. They've been going there for almost 5 years. Erica Wolf also apparently came and ran a board game with us a couple years ago. But this year had a new baby, so they might not have been able to come in person anyway.
Well, we did that just for you, so you're welcome. But we highly anticipate you bringing the child and running the child board game section next year, which will be large building blocks. What do 1-year-olds play? Are there board games for 1-year-olds?
For what now? Oh, 1-year-olds.
Board games. Yeah.
I thought you said 1-girls. I was like, wait, I tuned out at the wrong moment here.
My wife and I made the very important decision
and he's gone again.
Not to have kids because we just keep one of these in the house at all times. So I promised my wife I would get my dog on the stream. Astrid, what's that? Look, yes, I know. Thank you. You're such a great. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, look. Now Shannon's trying to get her to go lower. Oh, now she looks like she's looking at the camera. Good job. Yes, yes. You had a question. What can I answer for you? Anyway, so yeah, I don't have kids, so I don't know if there's board games that are made specifically for ages that young. But speaking of, tomorrow, Pandasaurus Games is going to be doing a demonstration of their latest Dinosaur Island game, which is great, and it's also on Kickstarter. So if you are a fan of dinosaurs and you're a fan of board games, definitely check that out tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? Danielle's eyes are shifting as she looks at the schedule to correct me or tell me I'm wrong.
I think. Hang on, it's either 7 or 8. Hang on.
Real
quick. Sammy Crit Fiddle said hi from Portland.
Well, hi, Sammy. How are you?
We also have, let's see here, someone who says that you look like you're doing well in your recovery, which I think you should probably talk about what happened to you earlier this year in the briefest of terms, just to kind of keep them up to speed of the chaotic world of Tom Kroom. And yes, it is at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
All right. So prologue is, we double check the time for you, but if you want to see the entire schedule, it is online at wasabicon.com/online. And you can actually watch the show directly from there and then read the entire schedule below there. As far as what Danielle is talking about, I got in a very serious motor vehicle accident at the end of July. I was on my scooter, think like a Vespa type style scooter. And myself, my scooter, and a truck decided they were going to try to be friends and didn't inform me of this. And when that happens, I was thrown off of it and sustained a lot of damage. I had a laceration to my abdomen, 6 stitches, bash in the back of my head, stitches there. So I'm wearing the hat so you can't see the weird haircut in the back of my head. And my elbow and my wrist were both popped completely out of joint. So to demonstrate, I can do this now. So that's my normal arm. This is the bad arm. If I do this, that's as far as it goes so far. And I do that, but I'm still going to physical therapy. So
fast
yes,
improvement,
I'm getting better. Yes. So it's going to take some time. But the important part of the whole story is I'm not dead. I did get pulled into a trauma unit. It was a little scary, but I kept my sense of humor the whole time. My favorite moment is I was literally laying in 90-degree weather on hot pavement, blood everywhere, and there's paramedics and police everywhere, and they're trying to see if I sustained a concussion. And somebody goes, "Okay, what is your name?" And I'm like, "I told them my full name. What is your date of birth? And I told them my date of birth. And they said, all right, what day of the week is it? And I said, we're kind of in the middle of a pandemic. Is that really a fair question to ask right now? So at least I was able to laugh at that and then laugh even more when they put me in the back of an ambulance. It was way too cold. But yeah, thanks for asking. I am recovering. The only downside is if you thought the pandemic extra pounds were bad, add pandemic extra pounds with recovery can't move extra pounds. And so now I have a lot of weight to lose. I invested recently into one of those Bluetooth AI weight scales. So every morning I get to go stand on a scale when I wake up, and then my phone all day goes, "Hey, you're still fat." So technology.
Start your day off the sad way.
Yes. So to depress myself with knowing the exact number, and then a little pop of notifications going, "Have you gotten up to walk today? Have you? Are you really going to eat that pizza?" And I go, yes, I am. And then I cry while I do it, and then I step on a scale the next morning. But no, I'm starting to ease back into jogging again. The arm is getting there. It clicks. You can't hear it, but it clicks a little bit. But by WasabiCon next year, hopefully I will be at least 10 pounds lighter, and my arm won't look as pale.
We've got a message here from Nitrous Nintendo that says, yeah, very happy you're recovering well so far. The whole Fletcher, Love, Donovan family was so worried about you. You're a friggin' tank man pushing through one crazy hard year.
Hey, I think we're all having one crazy hard year. So one, thanks for the kind words. But two, I'm not alone in this happening. So, between pandemics and everything else happening in the world, that doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And I'm just looking forward to surviving and making the best out of what we can. I mean, proof positive of that is, for example, Convention Nerds, the podcast we mentioned, I actually came up with that idea in 2013. Like there is artwork, that artwork you see was done back then. The concept, everything was built. It was an audio only podcast. But I have a stack of crazy ideas like that I get to come up with that I go, oh, it's cool. I'll do it later. And then you can't see, but my office over there has a big dry erase board with stuff I write on all the time. So, taking lemons, making lemonade, because this happened, we actually had time to go, hey, what are some of the weird projects that we always wanted to see if they would work or not? And that evolved into the Twitch project. So now between WasabiCon Online and the future Fandom PDX Online, we have the Wasabi Anime Twitch channel to do programming with. And I'm going to be honest with you, it gives us something to do. I mean, we get up in the morning, we have meetings about production, and then, we look at other shows we could do. Like the show I'm working on right now, I'm going to tell you guys, it's not done yet, but it'll be coming soon, is I'm going to be doing a game or a show once a week, starting probably in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to call it Finish the Damn Game. And what Finish the Damn Game is nothing more than me making sure I carve out a couple of hours a week, probably during the day, to finish the stack of video games that I have left that I haven't finished. Because everybody has those. You bought those games, you started playing, you got so far, and you're like, oh, I'll pick it up again later because the newer game came out. I've got a stack about this deep. Actually, it's like this deep of those suckers. And I just got to finish the damn game. So I'll stream just talking while I'm playing them in order to justify A, creating content for our channel, but B, I just need to finish those damn games. So
fair. On the note of games, I actually wanted to make a call out to how we are doing with the Wasabi Anime channel and how it particularly has been very beneficial to me with reference to earlier on in this year and how I was initially coping with everything, which you recall because you were the one that had to kind of kick me a bit. So obviously everyone knows that things have been crazy pretty much since end of March, beginning of April. So while I run WasabiCon, with Tom, what I actually do as my day job is I work in the events industry. So when all of this started, I almost immediately was furloughed and kind of have been since. And I'm just a very busy, go-gettery, kind of ambitious person. So I'm always juggling like 50 different things. It's always job and something else. So it's, at the time it was like I had just gotten promoted. I had this crazy good new job that was keeping me super busy. And then I had the convention and WasabiCon and we're going to be going to the Prime Osborne. And it was like everything. And then all at once it was like, I suddenly don't have anything to do anymore. And not only that, but I can't go anywhere. And it was like this really weird moment that admittedly I did not handle the best. All of you are familiar with Animal Crossing, I'm sure. That was pretty much me 24/7 for like 2 months. And it got to a point where it was like, I didn't do anything. I'd wake up, I'd play Animal Crossing. I'd stay up till like 4 or 5 in the morning and then I'd pass out and then I'd wake up and I'd do it again the next day. And
I think you're telling that out of order. It was, I played Animal Crossing I took an evening nap, and then I woke up to eat and played Animal Crossing and took an evening nap.
That's
And
true.
the best part is, like if you look right now, Danielle looks beautiful. She had her hair done recently and
It's a little
everything else.
messy right now. This is like 3 days after it got done.
But prior to that, I would force her to do Zoom calls every once in a while, and it was the disheveled. I don't need a shower. I'm not going anywhere. Who cares? I started seeing roots happening here and there. When did you clean that
it was
shirt last?
crazy.
And
It was weird
laundry
because it
wasn't
was like
happening.
it had gone from being like go 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 for so long, and then all of a sudden going to being like wow, nothing. And I don't think I really knew how to handle that because I'd just never been in that situation where I'd suddenly like I've been working since I was like 16, and so suddenly to have nothing and then to be like so uncertain about everything, it was like, well, I guess I'll play Animal Crossing because nothing bad happens in happy little animal town. And then it finally got to
the
a
good
point
news is
where
hundreds of thousands of other people were playing it with you, so you weren't
true.
alone in that.
No, I had a great time, but it got to a point where
Yeah.
Tom then started kicking me, and he was like, I think the exact phrase was, "I'm gonna need you to come back to life a little bit." And
and that's always been
it was necessary.
as we point out every once in a while. I'm an old man, and luckily I have lived through some stuff. And the number one lesson you can learn, and anybody watching, is we're in tough times right now, but do something. Yeah, we're all depressed. Yeah, it's all overwhelming. We all wish we were at WasabiCon right now, but we can't. So we're doing something, and you're doing something because you're watching this with us right now. But play a video game, read a book. God, the number of books I have read since the injury. Watch movies, catch up on stuff. There's always something to do. Just find something that you're passionate about and get back into it. And for Danielle, it was originally not showering and playing Animal Crossing. But now she's learning to be a street producer, which, let's face it, you come out of this learning something new, then that's one more notch in your cap. And I haven't had to do this much talking on a camera and God knows how long. Even when I go to conventions, I'm on stage once or twice during the weekend, but I usually hide behind the scenes now. Now it's at some point I have to I've dodged it. I have to get a haircut, and you can't see it, but all this long hair in the back. There's a reason I'm wearing a hat. So yeah, I'm glad that somehow Wasabi Anime and WasabiCon is doing something for everybody, which is the goal of I think a community and a convention to begin with. So any other questions or comments in the chat, or do we have to tell stories on our own?
We had someone says it is the return of the mullet. Old Dude Wanders says that. We've also got a comment
You're not
saying that
wrong.
another comment saying that honestly the pandemic is prime nerd time, which not wrong. One of the things that I have also been doing to keep busy in addition to learning this streaming stuff is I have finally been sitting down to try to learn Japanese. It's something that's always been on my list of to-dos, and so now I'm actually like taking the time to sit down and to practice it every single day. Shay really wants you to talk about Jaws, and I haven't counted them. Let's talk about Jaws instead.
So one of my first jobs in a theme park was I worked at the Jaws boat ride at Universal Studios. If you find, I actually have a YouTube channel, which is my name, Tom Kroom. And the most watched video on my YouTube channel is I have the original video from the original Jaws ride from like 1993 before they changed it. But yes, whenever I did filler, when I do it a panel, if we were stalling, I would try to do the Jaws spiel, which was, hello, welcome aboard, watch your step, take your seats, we're getting ready to go. You safe your minds, please remain seated with your hands and legs inside the boat at all times. There's no standing, no smoking, no photography, no videotaping. Watch those cameras, they will get wet. And interestingly enough, I got a new cover, clear cover for my laptop, and I've been collecting stickers to put onto my laptop. And for any theme park fans that are out there, hold on, I have something neat to show you. There's somebody out there that took, if you remember the old Universal Studios Jaws ride, we called it Captain Jake's Amity Boat Tours. And somebody found the artwork from it and actually made decals, here we go, of Captain Jake's Amity Boat Tours. And I bought it on their Etsy. So if you're curious about this, it's actually a really good one. It's going to wind up on my laptop when I finish doing that OCD balancing before I make the stickers. Let me know, and I'll just tag me on Twitter, or I'm easy to find on social media. I'll point you in their direction. But yes, so Shay already knows. She's just trying to find filler for us. I used to work at Jaws at Universal Studios. I used to work for in characters at the Disney MGM Studios. A lot of bad news recently. They laid off about 28,000 employees in the theme park industry, which for us in Florida, that's a big hit. A lot of friends, my Facebook feed was pretty rough. So my heart goes out to them right now. But same thing as everyone else in the pandemic. It's a rough time, and when you have times like this, we're all going to struggle with everything. But find the good in it. What can you do with the time you have now? Make use of it. Is it for some people it's been exercising. When I say some people, I mean that's not me, because God, I need to again. Read more, learn another language like Danielle. Just keep yourself busy, or like we're doing this weekend, be a fan of something, stay engaged.
Old Dude Wanders is apparently also an ex-jungle skipper and knows that the spiel continues to take up memory spells.
Oh yeah, so Ken, my co-host on Convention Nerds, was also a jungle boat skipper, and that used to be one of our rivalries when we first became friends in the early 2000s. Was Jaws boat skippers were obviously better than the Jungle Cruise skippers, and our spiel was better, and your guys was cheesy, but ours was dramatic, and we had a fire explosion, which obviously made us cool by default. So, but in either case, that is correct. That when you have had a job where your job is to go around in a circle and say the same thing over and over, and you've had that job for a number of years, those words are permanently burned into your brain, and they will be for the rest of your life. Because I haven't done the Jaws spiel on a boat since, oh God, we're talking late 20s, maybe early 30s. So at least over a decade and a half, maybe 2 decades ago. And I still know that whole damn spiel. So get me my Geritol and Walker.
Have you done the spiel? I have tuned out when you were talking about Jaws. I'm not going to lie.
That's okay. I talked about the time I got bit by a shark when I was swimming at the beach. Did you zone out during that?
You did not talk about that. I'm not that dumb. Come on now.
I did. That's where I got all these scars from.
That is not where you got the scars from. You got the scars on your elbows from your bike accident.
See? That's from the shark. That's a shark bite right there.
He's impossible. He's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have 13 more minutes here, just about, it's looking like. Do we have any more questions about WasabiCon Online, about WasabiCon, about Danielle, about Tom, about Astrid maybe?
No questions about Astrid. I refuse to answer questions about Astrid.
Astrid refuses to answer any questions without talking to her lawyer first?
Correct, yes. And she has very rough representation.
And the stream just cut out. That's it. That's the end. There's no more WasabiCon Online. It's ruined. Nope. Don't do that. Don't do that. You stress me out when you do that, because I actually think that it's frozen. That tricks them. That tricks me out more than them, because I go, oh no, did he just drop? Am I going to have to start talking about something? I don't know what to talk about. So there's a question asking about the ticket going on sale in November. Oh, I think they're asking about for 2021.
So for 2021, the plan is we're going to move forward the same. We just have to obviously work with our attorneys and come up with new verbiage, thanks COVID-19, on how we present ticket sales. But the current plan is, fingers crossed, the tickets will go on sale like they do every year on Black Friday, because we do a one-day Black Friday sale before we increase the ticket price for the rest of the year. Now, everybody who already had tickets for this year and opted to stay, you got yourself locked into those ticket prices, because just transparency, ticket prices are going to go up next year. Just to offset, we have to offset the cost of a lost year. We're trying to minimize the impact as much as possible by finding other revenue streams. Have I mentioned you should subscribe to the Twitch channel and see what we can do that. But the goal is to, another Black Friday sale, and then tickets be on sale for the rest of the year. But great question.
We have a couple other questions. Oh, and
Sure.
Shay cheered us with she gave us $1. She gave us $1 and 100 bits. Look at that.
I feel like I'm at a virtual strip club. Okay.
Okay, so first we've got, what is your favorite part of the normal con weekend?
That's a great question. What is my favorite part of a normal con weekend? It's usually one of two. So at every convention I go to, there's two things. One is there's always one panel, presentation, or event that I know that we've designed to be the biggest. And like for WasabiCon, for example, sometimes it's we've done, in some years it's been the Sunday gaming finals for a huge tournament we did in town. Sometimes it's when we get a bunch of voice actors together on stage. So it's going to be the big one, and the costume contest a lot. So I like that because I can walk into that and enjoy it while, I step away from the show, and I get to enjoy the energy of that room and that crowd for a minute. The second is sometimes the same, but a variant of that, which is doing something new. So each year, because I myself, Danielle's, and most people in my industry have day jobs. This is my day job. I do about 10 shows a year. I professionally consult for conventions all across the world and design programming for them as my job. I get paid as a consultant. But part of the fun of that is I get to create. So my other favorite part of convention weekends is, hey, what's the new thing we're trying or the new thing we've created? And then knowing the amount of work that went into it and then going in and seeing it happen. So for example, like this is exciting for me because, we slowly built a Twitch channel, but now we're doing a whole weekend stream. So this is something new for us. So I'm excited because I'll have it on all weekend in the background doing anything else. But this is the exciting part. So the biggest event that I think is going to have the most energy, and then the most experimental event we're doing just to see how it goes, because that's the excitement for me is seeing something built and happen. So good question.
I want to follow that up too and say that I really like just seeing it all come together. It's a lot of coordination on the back end. It's a lot of emails back and forth. It's a lot of call this person, email that person, reschedule this, move that, coordinate this. And it's a lot of like moving pieces for me in particular to keep track of. And just when it all goes together and it goes smoothly, and there's always hiccups. There is every year. You can't avoid that. But it's just really gratifying to me. It's like the same reason I think that I like to do puzzles, where it's just like, yes, it's all going according to Keikaku. But no, I like that, and the feral children, as we have been calling them, which are just the super overly sugared hyper kids that are doing weird shit in the hallways during the convention weekends. I just love it so much. I don't know what it is about these goopy kids, but it makes me so happy.
she's young enough to remember her days of being that
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I get like brought back to my head, and I'm like, I remember when I was a feral child. Memories. And now I'm older. We also have a question, or not a question. Shay says that she likes the new Wasabizilla art with the face mask, which I don't know if everyone has seen, but probably if they've been to the WasabiCon Online page, right?
Yeah, it's all over all of our advertising, and that's we use Brittany Fluffy Butt Arts again to do the artwork for that. Those of you that kept your ticket for next year, when we receive them, we put in the order, are going to get that pin. So that's the pin for 2020, because we're trying to do a pin every year, and we'll have those shipped. If you didn't, you can go to our website. There's links on there for shops somewhere. If not, I'll put it up on Twitter after this. There's an eBay. You can actually buy. Oh yeah, no. If you go to the online information post, there is a link that you can actually buy for $15. You'll get the badge and the pin for this year if you didn't have a ticket for next year. If you have a ticket for next year, you get that in the mail already. Otherwise, you can buy the 2020 pin online. And we'll
that answered one of the questions, which was, will you be offering a Wasabizilla with the mask collectible pin for the year? I'd also be doing a disservice if I didn't tell you that Ken is in the chat tuning into this as well. And we're going to have to rapid fire some of these questions because they're coming in kind of quick now.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
So have you thought about 2021 guests rolling over voice actors?
Yes, we're probably going to just extend the same offers again for availability, and we're looking at other options. The trick with conventions like this is you want to go with what's popular and make sure you're targeting popularity. The problem is so much content didn't get put out in 2020 that we're treading a little carefully right now just to make sure that, we don't miss an opportunity on something that could be great that we know is coming. So I have some insight from Japan on some actors. We also have some insight on some video games, but we haven't made any solid decisions. So just follow us once we wrap this up. We'll be making decisions over the next couple of months. Good question.
Okay. What is Tom's favorite anime, and what is Danielle's favorite anime, and why?
What's yours? You go first.
It's a toss-up lately. It used to just be Psycho-Pass, but I got really into Danganronpa, and actually I have right here to show how big of a nerd I am. Nagito, look at him. Isn't he so beautiful? He's kind of shiny in this light, but you could see him enough. He's good. I don't know. I really like anime that deals with a lot of like ethical, moral kind of stuff, and is just really interesting to me. I find that very fun. What about you, Tom? I know yours, but like to tell them why.
Movie, it's Ghost in the Shell, the 1995 non-Scarlett Johansson version. Series, it's Cowboy Bebop, because it's finite. There's a beginning, there's an end. You can watch the whole thing, know the whole story, and it's not going to take you 10 years to finish.
We have another question here asking if we're planning on getting more emotes for the Wasabi Anime channel.
The more subscribers we get, the more emotes we get. We did submit our second one. The second one, when it gets approved, will be the image from our Made Cafe team for the Made in America podcast. So more subscribers, more emotes unlocked for us, the more we create.
Yes. Okay. We have the pin question. Why the name WasabiCon?
Because when we decided to do the event, it was because another event had canceled in the region because it kind of crashed and burned, and we saw an opportunity. And we had a short window of time to create and start a show. And we always had WasabiCon on deck as an extension of Wasabi Anime to use one day. So when we didn't have any other show name to come up with for the region, we went with WasabiCon. And especially over the past couple of years, we're leaning back towards the fact that WasabiCon is the Wasabi Anime Convention. So Wasabi Anime appears at conventions like MegaCon, Fan Expo, Origins Game Fair, but Wasabi Anime also has its own con now, WasabiCon, and you're going to see some announcements in 2021 about how we're expanding that brand.
Cool. And we have about 5 minutes. And yes, Ken, we already had a whole conversation about Tom's arm and how it's recovering. He's got more range of motion than previously. Okay. It does squeak, though. That's unfortunate. We are going to have to get those oiled, but it's expensive. So he's just going to be a rusty robot for a bit.
Well, kidding aside, physical therapy, not cheap, even with insurance. So.
Cool. We've got like
no other
4
questions?
minutes here. Oh, KD Young, 79. I almost said 97. That's not what that number said. Cheered for us with a little 100 bits there. So we got another $1 from KD. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for tuning in.
Yes. And
the chat's also proud of you for fighting off that shark.
Well, thank you. It was, I warned the mayor that it was going to be an issue. He said he didn't want to panic the people and pretend like it wasn't there, but I did the right thing and went out to battle the shark with my mask on.
We have another question here. Favorite comic book adaptations?
Comic book adaptations.
Yeah, I'm a little stumped on this one too. I'll be honest. I'm not comic books outside of my nerddom. I'm an anime kid for the most part, so I'm gonna let Tom answer this one.
Two greatest comic book movies ever made. Number 1, Superman the movie, which I believe is 1979. I could be wrong. It's 1970 something. And then The Dark Knight, Chris Nolan's The Dark Knight. Those are my 2 all-time favorite superhero adapted or comic book adapted to movies. As far as series, I don't think I have a favorite, but there's a lot of great ones. I recently got into Doom Patrol, and Doom Patrol was infinitely better than I was expecting. I am watching The Boys.
Shay's calling you out for Arrow.
Arrow was great the first couple of seasons because it did follow the comic book, and then they just started doing some weird writing that had nothing to do with the rest of their universe. And then they did get screwed on the fact that they were trying to set up a Suicide Squad TV series in Arrow, only to have it taken away by the films. And then we got Legends and I don't like Legends. So, but no, right now, definitely watch Doom Patrol. Season 3 just got announced. Harley Quinn, the animated series, I'm a fan of. The new season's been added. I'm watching The Boys, which is currently airing. And I think those are it for and Lucifer on Netflix. The second half of the season's coming soon, and that's based on the Neil Gaiman Sandman series. So
cool. So we've got like 2 minutes, maybe a little less than 2 minutes, depending on how quickly that minute hand rolls over.
Cool. And then Danielle's going to get to test we're wrapped up the stream, go into the waiting room, and who's the first group after this one?
Neon Otaku with Manga Versus.
Yes, and they're allegedly a group in Jacksonville, Florida, trying to open a brick and mortar manga store. So they reached out to us and give them the opportunity to talk about, manga and Versus, obviously, and hopefully get some insight into their plans to opening a shop, in the midst of this or when all this passes in Jacksonville, because Lord knows, and I'm saying this in all sincerity, you can never have too many geek businesses in a city as long as the city can support it. So you have 6 of the same kind of store, whatever, but I don't know to date of a exclusive manga store yet in Jacksonville. So that should be something new.
For sure. Cool. So we're kind of in this last minute here. Any closing thoughts?
Yes. So everybody, if you get a chance, please thank Danielle. She's put a lot of hard work into making this run, and she's going to be running this for us this weekend so that I can sit and do physical therapy with my arm. So thank you, Danielle, for all your hard work. Number 2, Tomorrow, if you're watching the stream, be sure to harass her in the chat because tomorrow is her birthday. She's going to be 47.
What? Okay, first off, 47. Now I'm going to cry, and now there's no WasabiCon Online. Everything's canceled.
Number 3 is...
To answer your quick question too, Erica, everything is going to be on this channel, so you don't have to go to different channels, but everything is on here. And thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes and such.
Yes.
And for your support.
Shannon's getting the time delay and just laughed at my 47 joke.
Yes.
But yeah, so watch all weekend. I do want one quick final shout out to
make it quick.
The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. They've been a great supporter of us, and we're supposed to do a bunch of stuff with them this year that we're going to do next year. That's why I wore the hat. Big fan of local sports. How much time do we have left, Danielle?
None. It's time to end.
Have fun, everybody, this weekend.
Bye, everybody.